Hey guys, this is Downphoenix, and this is me playing Revenge of Shinobi on an original Sega Genesis on my HD TV in the bedroom using Composite video, which is pretty much the standard way of hooking up a Sega game, on or anything like that, on a TV. Composite. I mean, there's also RF, which is just total crap, and then there's the people out there that have the S-Video modded Genesis systems, which I'm sure looks a little bit better. But this is pretty much what you can expect the game to look like on an HD TV nowadays. It's not exactly very clear. A lot of fuzziness to it. I don't know if it comes out the best in this video recording because I'm recording this from my cell phone camera. It's not the best. I mean, obviously you see a little bit of blurring due to the lack of ability to focus on certain sources, like Shinobi, for instance, it has a bit of a hard time focusing on him for whatever reason. I guess he's like brighter than everything else, and that's why. But this is essentially what it looks like. It doesn't look very good. I mean, it plays fine. This TV actually does very well with input latency and things like that. But overall, yeah, it plays like crap, kind of. Or not plays like crap. Looks like crap is what I mean to say. And this is essentially what it looks like. So I'm going to show you a close-up now of what this looks like. Okay, so here we are now at a much closer view. This will allow you to really see up close what the video quality looks like here. I actually moved the camera a lot closer instead of just, zooming in, so that you can actually get a full fidelity of what this looks like. So obviously I'm replaying. It's not the exact same footage, I had to replay this section again so that I can show you guys just what it looks like. I mean, you can see the pixels aren't very well defined in some areas. I mean, some areas look fine, of course. And it's actually interesting that this game holds up pretty well on an HD TV using Composite compared to some other retro games I've played. Some games just look like crap. This at least looks okay. You can tell where stuff is, kind of, and things like that. Although the waterfall stage 2 is really tricky to play on this TV. Definitely CRT is the way to go, so it seems, right? Well, that's what I thought for the longest time, but then there was a YouTuber I watched. His name is Adam Koralik, Figure Out Productions, and he does some excellent videos. So I'm going to show you something that I learned from him. Now, here we are playing the game again. I hooked up a different set of video cables called Scart. Now, Scart is a video standard that we do not have in the United States, more or less. I mean, you can get like arcade RGB monitors and things like that that'll play it, but for the most part, they don't play on our equipment. But as you'll see just how much clearer this video signal looks. Now, these are kind of some shitty Scart cables I've got here. If you notice on the top where the pink sky is, you might notice some kind of pinstriping up there. That's not what Scart is normally supposed to do if you got good cables. These are kind of shitty $6 ones I bought off of eBay from some Chinese seller that I had to wait 3 weeks for shipping, But as you could tell, it looks so much better. Now, how am I playing this on the TV? Well, I had to get a box called a Scart to HDMI adapter, which was about roughly $40 or so on Amazon. And basically all it does is it lets you use the Scart connection on the Sega Genesis and plug it into the box, and then the output is HDMI, which lets you plug into the HD TV. So it also upscales the image. And so it lets you get a nice, clean-looking image. As you can see, the game looks a lot better defined. The colors pop out more. There's not really the whole fuzziness. There is the whole pin striping on certain things. Like I said, that's because of some shitty cables I got here. But it looks a lot better overall. Now I'm going to show you a closer view to really drive that home. Okay, here we are zoomed in now with the Scart to HDMI cables. And wow, it totally looks better. I mean, the pinstriping is obviously a lot more noticeable when zoomed in here now. But you can see just how much clearer the pixels are, how much more they pop out. It looks pretty much like it does on an emulator, honestly. Except, you know, obviously it's the full accurate Sega Genesis. You know, it's the actual hardware. It sounds like it's supposed to sound. It looks like it's supposed to look. Now, emulators have came a long way, of course, and a lot of games are handled almost perfectly, if not perfectly even to the original hardware. But there are still a lot of games out there that have some trouble with their emulation. Things will sound different. Graphics will look a little bit different, you know, color-wise and, you know, motion-wise and all kinds of good stuff like that. And I think that's really why something like this really appeals, you know. Now, you're wondering probably, why am I capturing this off the TV directly using my camera? Well, I am having a bit of an issue with capturing footage using my Live Gamer Portable using this. But I do want to show one last thing, because a lot of people say, well, this stuff has a lot of input lag, and I want to dispel that. Okay, so now I've got a view where you can see me playing the game with the controller, so you can see how the latency actually is. I mean, there is software out there that lets you test latency, but honestly, cameras don't lie. This is really the best way to do this. This is the footage at normal speed, as you're seeing here. It looks pretty good, looks pretty clean and accurate. Nothing discernible here, but how is it going to look if we slow it down? We're going to look at the same footage, slow down very significantly. Well, I don't know what you guys think, but I think it's pretty evident. I mean, sure, if you have superhuman reflexes, or you're one of those fighting game snobs that can pick out individual frames of animation, yeah, I'm sure you might be able to notice something here, but overall it plays very well. Any failures that I've had were mine and mine only. I have no complaints as far as the input latency. If you want to see even further, let's go ahead and slow things down even further so we can actually count individual frames pretty much. Okay, so here's a segment that we just watched at, essentially this is about 1/16 of the speed that it originally was. So literally there's like maybe 4 frames per second. So it should be pretty easy to look at my thumb and determine just what kind of input latency it has. Now the camera unfortunately doesn't do the best trick of this here. I wish I was able to actually show a flat surface so you can actually see when the buttons were pressed, but it's very playable. I mean, it's even more playable than when I did my on-live demonstration for Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, which you can watch that video. I did it a long time ago, which OnLive's long dead now, but, you know, it was just a latency demonstration that I did. Very satisfied with it there. I pressed that button literally within the next frame of animation, he started swinging, which means within 4 frames of animation. And the human eye really has a very hard time discerning it. So I'm going to show you the original footage just one more time to demonstrate what I'm talking about. So overall, I think it's great looking. It's playable. Like I said, any failings that I had was player error. I didn't feel like I was held back at all by any limitations with the hardware that's being demonstrated here. And I just had a great time using this. I wish I could find a solution to capture footage so that I can actually record and stream Sega Genesis games. But I'm going to try some other systems once I get appropriate cables for those, and we'll see how those go. So hope you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and sub if you wanted to see more just like it. But till then, Downphoenix out.